Mangwanani Mwalelepo Fukenjani Klekwas Vanave Africa. Welcome to Africa Good Morning, the news and current affairs show that remains your portal into Africa's most potent stories. You are joined by Ashwin Mbedi, fresh off another World Cup semi-final. Yes, no African nations were involved, but certainly some Africans on the pitch. When Argentina got the best of England in a 2-1 win, which means the final is set. Lamine Yamal versus Lionel Messi on Sunday. We'll definitely be keeping an eye on that. But for now, what we are keeping an eye on is what is happening on the African continent, and these are some of our top stories. Sierra Leone ends treason case against former President Koroma. Businessman Matlala remains central figure in South Africa police inquiry. Kenyan High Court rejects Rastafarian cannabis petition. And Aston Villa Visit Rwanda deal draws sports washing criticism. DSTV 285, GoTV 25, OneUp2.com, Network Media Hub, and ntvafrica.my.na is where you can watch the show. And today is a very special day, and I'd like to wish Mrs. Mbedi, my wife, a very, very happy birthday. Top stories shortly.
Namibia is a land of movement, with waves that never stop reaching forward. Here, adventure is not something we search for. It is something we are born into. In every corner of this country, creativity rises. From artists, from athletes, from dreamers. And when the world comes to explore Namibia, they discover something extraordinary. Because when sport moves people, creativity moves ideas, and tourism moves the world toward us. Something powerful happens. A platform where movement meets imagination, where industries connect, where opportunity grows, where Namibia's next chapter begins. Welcome to the Creative Sport Tourism Expo. Exhibit, partner, experience. Creative Sport Tourism.
Sierra Leone's government has withdrawn all charges, including treason, against former President Ernest Bai Koroma, who had been arrested over an attempted coup nearly 3 years ago. Information Minister Shano Ba told the BBC the charges were dropped on health grounds. The 72-year-old has consistently denied any involvement in the November 2023 attempted coup, during which gunmen raided the military armory and several prisons, freeing almost 2,000 inmates. Reacting to the decision, Koroma reaffirmed his enduring conviction that peace, justice, and reconciliation must always triumph over adversity. He also thanked President Julius Maada Bio, Nigerian President Bola Tinubu, and ECOWAS for their support. Following his arrest and house arrest, ECOWAS negotiated an agreement allowing him to travel to Nigeria for medical treatment. Ba said the Attorney General had filed to discontinue the matter, making Koroma free to return to Sierra Leone whenever he chooses and resume his normal activities. Koroma served as president for 11 years until 2018. 11 civilians and 24 soldiers were convicted over the coup attempt in 2024. Around 20 people died during the uprising following disputed elections. Now, shady businessman Kat Matlatla remains at the core of South Africa's major inquiry into alleged police corruption. The 49-year-old faces accusations of providing gifts, including 20 Impalas, Ozempic, and personal loans to gain influence and secure police contracts. already in custody for more than a year in a separate case. Matlala appeared before retired Constitutional Court Judge Mbuyiseli Matlanga and the Commission for 2 hours before it was agreed he would begin detailed testimony in September. He previously denied corruption allegations before Parliament, saying he did not personally know senior police officers or politicians, although he admitted making donations linked to African National Congress activities. He has not yet addressed allegations presented before the Matlanga Commission, including claims linking him to the alleged Big Five drug trafficking cartel. Born in 1976, Matlala told lawmakers he grew up in a township east of Pretoria, raised himself after his mother disappeared, and later reunited with her before her death. He detailed previous arrests, convictions, and business activities while continuing to deny numerous allegations. Now, Kenya's High Court has dismissed a petition by the Rastafari religious community, it's also known as the Rastafari Society of Kenya, seeking permission to use cannabis for religious purposes. The group argued that prohibiting cannabis infringed on constitutional rights of freedom of religion and belief. Justice Bahati Mwamuye ruled that the community failed to demonstrate the drug laws violated those constitutional protections, although he acknowledged the need for a broader national discussion on cannabis. Under Kenya's Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act, possession, cultivation, and use of cannabis remain criminal offenses carrying fines and prison sentences. The Rastafari Society had requested a limited exemption allowing followers to cultivate, possess, and use cannabis privately during worship in homes and designated places of worship, insisting it was not seeking general legalization. The state opposed the application, arguing that such an exemption could weaken enforcement of anti-drug laws and create loophole for illegal trafficking. Justice Mwamuye found the evidence regarding cannabis as an essential element of the Rastafari faith to be inconsistent and insufficient. He upheld the constitutionality of existing laws while stating that future exemptions would require a sound constitutional and legal foundation. Now, Aston Villa, the English Premier League team, has been warned that their new £20 million a year sponsorship agreement with Visit Rwanda will be used to sportswash Rwanda's human rights record. The African country's tourism board will replace Betano on the front of the club's men's, women's, and academy team shirts under a multi-year partnership. Aston Villa described it as the most important sponsorship deal in the club's history, but Amnesty International UK's head of campaigns, Felix Jakens, raised concerns about the agreement. Last month, the Democratic Republic of Congo filed a case against Rwanda at the International Court of Justice, accusing its neighbor of breaching multiple international treaties. DR Congo alleges Rwanda dispatched forces and backed armed groups to carry out unlawful military operations on its territory following the 1994 Rwandan genocide. Rwanda has long dismissed claims that it supports rebel groups, although UN experts and Western governments are among those who say Rwanda backs the M23 armed group in eastern DR Congo. Now, Aston Villa said the partnership will promote collaboration through tourism, investment, and sporting development. All right, those have been our top stories on Africa Good Morning. Shortly, we will be joined by Adi Hohad as he delivers the South Africa Report.
is 'n eg Namibiese inisiatief. Ons reis op die hartklop van Afrika en vertel stories van mense en hulle dorpe op verskeie platforms insluitende televisie en sosiale media. Dit is joune, syne, julle en ook almal van hulle aan die ander kant van ons grense sinne en dit maak Aitsa 'n lekker ding. Kyk Aitsa maande om 18:30 op NTV, oneup2.com as ook op Netwerk Media Hub en NTV Afrikaans se YouTube kanale. Volg ons op Facebook of besoek ons webwerf by aitsafrica.com.
Do you like traveling?
Do you like to experience new places?
Well, then you should tune into On the Rock, where we explore enjoy establishments all over Namibia and South Africa. Great food, great fun, and so much more. So be sure to mark your calendar as we explore the beautiful landscapes of Namibia at the various enjoy establishments.
And where we also get to go on game drives, different activities, and meet the awesome staff of the different establishments.
We will see you there.
Watch On the Rocks every Monday at 9 p.m. on DSTV channel 285 and GoTV channel 25.
All right, you are still with Africa. Good morning. And it's time for us to swing into the South Africa report delivered by Mr. Ari Hogad, starting with the current affairs.
In current news in South Africa, it is related to political parties starting to work hard, and that is leading up to the municipal elections that will happen on the 4th of November 2026. So there's a high volume of political parties that registered for the election. According to election authorities, it's 508 political parties that registered for the elections. So not all of them will be in all of the provinces of South Africa. Many of the political parties will just be in one province, and many just in certain areas of that province as well. Also, political news from the ANC is that one of the members in KwaZulu-Natal, that is Sandile Komede, have moved over to the MK party, and she's an ally of former President Jacob Zuma, and she's moved over to the MK party, and there's big challenges for the ANC in that area, and they've lost lots of votes, and it seems like there will be more ANC members that will follow her to move over to the MK party. Moving on to economic news in current news in South Africa, it is the steel industry that's experiencing lots of pressure at the moment, and that's big losses in the industry. And it is a big component of the losses is because of the war in the Middle East, and that obviously it's got to do with many components. It's got to do with the demand, also less demand globally, but also it's got to do with the price of diesel. So with the war in the Middle East, it's obviously that the price of crude oil pushes up the diesel price. So that's a big component of the costing for the industry. So what's happened at the moment, it's not only the diesel that is making it difficult for the industry. There's not a big global demand, and there's also cheaper imports in South Africa as well. But also in South Africa, it is the steel industry that struggle. That's related to costs like electricity, that is high cost of electricity, and also rail costs. And then also it is a pressure on the port infrastructures that's making it difficult. So steel is a big component of the South African economy. It's about 90 billion South African rand annually that the exports entail. So it's a big component. But since 2008, there's been a decline in production in steel products or steel and in South Africa. And it is also effect since 2008. There's 220,000 workers that lost their jobs. So that is just in the last 18 years. Closing off in current news in South Africa is also related to the economy, and that is in the mining industry. And another mine that is struggling, and that is a diamond mine in the Limpopo area. And it is a De Beers mine. It's called Venetia, and it announced that it will stop production, and they will stop production for 2 years. It's one of the biggest diamond mines in South Africa. So they have about 3,600 workers there, but it seems like 1,134 mine workers might lose their jobs for the 2 years. So the mines say that they will now put their focus on the underground expansion. And that was a very expensive project that started in 2015 and at a cost of about 40 billion South African rand. The diamond industry is under pressure because of a lower global demand for diamonds. And is South Africa export high volume? They export 6 million carat of diamonds annually. So that adds up to about 27 to 30 billion South African rand, the value of that. And there's also big competition lately from lab-grown diamonds in the industry as well. That is current news at the moment in South Africa.
All right, many thanks, Ari. It's been a very active month for sport, notwithstanding the FIFA World Cup, but I do know the Springboks are going to be facing Wales very soon. Do take us into the sports updates with regards to South Africa.
Sport news in South Africa, the focus is firstly again on the Springbok rugby team, and they play on Saturday against Wales. That's a men's Springbok team, and they've started off the Nations Championship at a good note, beating England and Scotland, and it was Wales that won against Fiji their first game, but then lost against Argentina in Argentina. So that game is in Durban on Saturday. It's a 17:40 kickoff time, 20 minutes to 6. That is Namibian time. Team news is that Siya Kolisi is still injured, so the team captain for Saturday is again Pieter-Steph du Toit, and there will be exciting few debutants in the game. The biggest one is probably the 20-year-old Vusi Moyo. He's from the Sharks. He plays fly-off. He played for the South African under-20 team last year when they won the World Under-20 title, and he's an exciting player to make his debut. Other players making debut, 3 of them is Carlo Sadi as a prop, Ruben van Heerden the lock, and then on the wing it is Jaco Williams. Other games that will take place, New Zealand will play against Ireland. That's an interesting game for South African interest because South Africa will play the All Blacks as well in 4 tests coming up later in the year. Other tests, Australia versus Italy, and it will be France against Japan all on Saturday and Australia against England. Also, the World Under-20 finals, that is rugby, will also take place. That is men's rugby, and it is South Africa that play against France in the final of that tournament. South Africa beat England in the semi-final, and it was France that beat New Zealand in the semi-final. The final for South Africa against France will be on Saturday as well. That's going to be played in Georgia, and the kickoff time is 6:30 p.m. That is Namibian time. Then some more sport news is that Dricus du Plessis, he's the former UFC middleweight champion of the world in cage fighting, and he will come up against Kamaru Usman, and that will be in Oklahoma City. That is also this coming Saturday, and that is a big fight for Dricus du Plessis, trying to retain his title again. And then also a few South Africans playing also in the British Open golf tournament, that is men's golf, and that will be played at Royal Birkdale in the British Isles. And some of the players is Ulrich Potgieter. Also, it is Henny du Plessis and Casey Jarvis that will play in the tournament, and Jaden Schaefer and Michael Hollick. So there's quite a few South Africans. There's 8 South Africans in total that will play in the British Open this coming weekend. So that is sports news in South Africa.
All right, and as we cap off the South Africa report, here's the travel and entertainment with Ari Hogard.
Entertainment news in South Africa. We go to the town of Paarl, and it's about 40 minutes from Cape Town, and it's a lovely place to visit for tourists. Lots to do there, and it's very scenic as well. There's great golf courses, great wine, and also it's quite a few great hotels to visit as well. Firstly, let's talk about the golf, maybe for the sports enthusiast. If you stay around Paarl, it is the Paarl Golf Club, also called the Boshenmeer Estate, and it was founded all the way back in 1955, and it's now a 27-hole golf course that is from the late 1990s, and it is run under the Boshenmeer Estate, and so it's a great golf course at 27 holes that you can play there in Paarl. Great places to stay there as well. It is a Grand Rocher. That's a 5-star hotel. If you want to treat yourself, it's 31 rooms. There's a luxury boutique hotel that it is, and it goes back to quite a few years as well. But there's the 1707 Cape Dutch architecture. Goes back 300 years, that architecture. So it's award-winning dining as well in the restaurant, and then there's 2 outdoor pools as well, and also a wellness center. That is the Grand Rocher Hotel. Also great wine, and it's a part of the tourist attraction. KWV is one of them. They've got a great museum as well, and they go back to 1918 as well, KWV. They've got some brilliant wine. The Cathedral Cellar is also a great place to see, the Cathedral Cellar, and also they have a Cathedral Cellar wine as well, that is KWV. And then the iconic and the well-known wine for KWV is the Rodeberg, so you can visit that. And also another great wine estate to visit is Simon's Vlei. It's right next to the N2, easy to find when you drive into Paarl, and that goes back to 1945, and they've got great lifestyle, a great lifestyle range wine as well, red wine, white wine, and it's easy to find in Paarl. Then to close off, obviously when you're in Paarl, nature is a big part of the tourist attraction, and there's the Limmitberg Nature Reserve, and that is in the De Toitskloof Mountains, so it's nice views, and it's very scenic with cliffs and also rivers, and great for hiking. So Paarl, definitely a place to visit when you're in Cape Town. So that is entertainment news in South Africa.
All right, let's swing into economic news as we zone in on Namibia. Communications Regulatory Authority of Namibia legal advisor Rusa Ntinda says Namibia must prepare young people for emerging opportunities in the space, science and technology sector as global demand for specialized skills continues to rise. She said this speaking during a public consultation on the proposed Space, Science and Technology Bill in Oshuarongo. Now, related, the proposed Space, Science and Technology Bill could unlock new opportunities for young Namibians by laying the foundation for stronger innovation and homegrown technological development. And this is also according to Rediland Auseb, a learner at Paresis Secondary School in Oshuarongo. Here is Rusa Ntinda, followed by our boy from Oshuarongo, Rediland Auseb.
Laws that is really working for them in this area, especially to ensure sustainability of space sector issues. Why don't we do the same? So their job is basically to advise government on that. The other is to ensure working in working together as a nation within a regional, continental and international setting. We have treaties and agreements that we have signed as member states, and we need to ensure that we adhere and implement those treaties. Develop and recommend governance, national space policies and the rest, and promote capacity building. That's why the professor was explaining to you that these are the skills that you will need for this. Perhaps it's time we move a little bit away from the generic job market and meet the whole world in the system where it's going. I think if you follow Chinese media, I follow that a lot because I'm in the tech space. They discommunicated 3,000 qualifications because they are saying the world is moving away from the generic job market into a new sector of technology and space development. So maybe as a student, you may have to look in a new sector other than the standing professions that have always been there. Phase 2 is overseeing tangible operational and safety and resource regulation.
Greetings, my name is Oseb Rediland. I'm a learner from Paresis Secondary School. Today we had a workshop. Theme was space science and technology. But I think this will actually be beneficial if the government actually implements it. Not only the act being made and it's collecting dust, but if the government actually implements it, it will actually be very beneficial for us because it not only includes complex things such as maybe cyber security from, let's say, aerial attacks, but it's also involved in our day-to-day life. So it could make our day-to-day life better, and it will also ensure that we are more secure because it could make it that we are more secure. And what is this? Also, since like we'll have day-to-day data, so I think it will also be easier for our archaeologists to not archaeologists possibly, to discover let's say here we can find oil or such so on. It will also be easier for them to do that, and very possible because we never know. For let's say let me give you an example. If a caveman cannot distinguish between a diamond and a normal stone, so let's say we do not still know who is out there. We still do not know what type of talent they have or what type of abilities they have. So in the long run, I think it's possible. The person might not accomplish as much as Elon Musk did, but I think there actually be certain individuals that can actually majorly contribute to the development and growth of Namibia. And experts currently we are lacking experts. We are lacking experts. Majority of truly skilled people that are truly qualified are foreigners, and it will be very difficult to fill this gap, to have our own people, our own chemical engineers, our own scientists, our own individuals that specialize in different fields. It will be hard to get there, but I think with this, if they truly implement it, in time, 10 years, 20 years, but in time, I'm sure that there will be individuals that are truly qualified.
All right, with that, we've come to the end of the Africa Good Morning broadcast for today. Of course, we will be back tomorrow, same time, same place, DSTV 285, GoTV 25, 1up2.com, and ntvafrica.my.na. From me, Ashwin Bedi, and the Africa Good Morning team, Swera Jaganaka.